don't get me wrong, the wine is very important. The wine is very important. However, the business you're in is the business of experiences, right? Whether the person walking in, we talked to Xerxes Nabong and Candace, I can't think of her last name, of Escape Room, Virginia, and those facilities, and we've talked to several others. Like, the experience is what matters, right? If you walk through the doors and you have an absolute, a D minus experience, that person is going to never probably come back. If they get an A minus to an A plus, you're going to be a rock star and they're probably going to come back, right? And so that probably more has to do with the experience than the actual way that the wine tastes. Again, the wine is important, but the experience is that. What have you done to make sure that people feel welcome, that you guys do a bang up job on customer service, in kind of the realm of that, because it's so incredibly important that people feel welcome, that they feel like this was the greatest thing ever. And then living in a tourism area, I mean, that's the single most important thing, I would think, is that experience where they're like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I'm so happy I did this. So what have you guys been doing to implement that?
Yeah, so I mean, being back to the live experience has been a slow drudge for us, right? Like, the tasting room at our winery was closed for a large portion of last year. We got back to having tastings, which I think in the beginning people were just happy about. But I think really, right, every interaction we're having with our customers just speaks to the brand that we have, and it's not just a matter of what happens when they walk in the door. It's also what happens when they comment on a social media post or send an email or place an online order. And so, for me, hospitality is really about, two things: heart and hustle. And I think that working hard is a part of it to make sure that we can deliver on, the experience that we've committed to. But the other part of it is really just being able to be as much high touch and really spending time focused on building relationships with our customers, much more in our industry than maybe some others are. And I think that, you think a lot of other industries, when they talk about being customer centric, they're trying to get towards really what is the heart of hospitality, which is those relationships with our customers. The wine is important. People have to actually like it. But I think where we really have focused on is, our winery is very much like a come as you are, drink what you like philosophy to wine. And I think that's a different conversation that we're having with our customers than a lot of traditional wine vineyards or wine companies have had. And I think that there's going to be much more of an opportunity over the next couple of years that we're going to see, some emerging micro urban, however you want to think of it, wineries come about, because it does give people a different experience than maybe the perception of the industry. So that's a roundabout way of saying, like, we're still working on our in-person experience in the winery, but we're putting a lot of touch in. I personally speak to as many of our customers as I can. We've had some people in the comments today of people that we've done virtual tastings for with a couple different groups, with the Travel Pack Club and Black Connect 757. And so, we really just have tried to give access and give opportunity to have people experience what we do, which is a little bit different.
Just a quick kind of other piece of that. So with COVID, with restrictions, without like masks, stuff like that, and then you wanting to be so high touch, like how do you still do that while having to be a little bit more cautious on that? I mean, do you just assume that, like, hey, if they're in here, like, we're going to go for it, or like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a transition, right? When we first took over, essentially it was like curbside pickup orders. Like, the only interaction we really had was on the phone or like in their window. And I'm like, hello, like, I'm like mask handing you, like bottles or boxes of wine. But I think those small moments matter. I think that those 30 seconds or that minute may be the difference in someone really feeling like they had a good interaction that day. At the time, like, that may have been the only time they left their house that day or that week. So
yeah, there was times where that's how people were. Yeah,
we couldn't take that for granted, right? Like, people are still choosing to spend that moment with us. They're still bringing us their business when they have a lot of options, right? And so I think that high touch and really pouring into those relationships it's non-negotiable in our business. I mean, it really is. Like, we can have all the e-commerce and digital tools and marketing spend that we want to have. At the end of the day, there are so many options, and we're such a tiny fish in a big pond.